I am Matt Hansen, host of the Mastering Local Marketing podcast, and I'm here with Jim Diedlow and Summer Borkowski, who is the owner of Summer Gold, which is a beauty and wellness company locally here in Northwest Indiana. How are you, Summer?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here.
Great. So today we are talking about the two sides of your business, right? So there are things that you have told us that you're doing really well. And there are things that you're struggling with, which is what every single one of our listeners is happening all the time, right? So today I want to talk about what works first.
Okay.
And maybe give us a little bit of background as to what the business is before we jump in.
Yes. So we started, this April we opened 3 years ago this upcoming April. My goodness.
There you go.
Okay. Anyways, so we are a beauty wellness club. We started off just doing airbrush tanning. I was doing it out of my house. I saw that there was demand there. I loved doing it. So I took the leap. And then since then, we've expanded a lot. We've added a licensed esthetician. So we also do sugaring, which is like waxing, red light therapy, brows, facials, and lashes as well.
Outstanding. So huge demand. Right?
Yes.
Obviously, I don't know the space. Jim and I were talking. We're on camera. We're a couple older guys that we're talking about. We need the glow and the all the different pampering, make us look as well as other people. But I digress. But what we're saying here today is 3 years into the business.
Yep.
Before that, you were 10 years. Was it 10 years in kind of the marketing field?
Yes. Yeah. I'm still freelancing, so I just hit about 10 years now.
Okay.
I was working in advertising at a media agency, but it was a little bit different than what I'm doing now because it was big brands who had huge budgets, Fortune 500 companies, with big marketing teams, a lot of experience, a lot of data. So switching from advertising a company like that to a small one that had no data, small budget, a completely different experience.
We talk a lot about two things that limit small businesses: budgets, money, and time.
Yep.
Right. So you're running this business. You have all of these different things that you're participating in. They're taking you away from the marketing, and many times marketing kind of gets pushed to the side.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So all right. So let's flip. What are we doing well? So you had given us a few different things here, and I want to talk about partnerships and collaborations that you're doing.
Yes, that by far has been one of the best ways, I think, for us to grow as a company is partnering with other small businesses. I know you have mentioned in previous podcasts about partnering up with people who have similar clientele, but you guys might not do the same thing. So we've partnered up with med spas. We partner up a lot with Dry Bar, fitness boutiques, just other places where our customers also go. And that has been the best way for us to grow without spending money, and then also a great way for us to network within, I guess, owning a small business. So yeah, we've hosted events where we had other small businesses pop up in our business. We've popped up in their businesses. We've done giveaways and things like that. We have an upcoming prom collaboration with a couple small businesses too. And yeah, I think partnering up with people, you don't have to have a big budget to do anything like that. Yeah. And then I think what scares some small business owners is they're kind of scared to reach out to partner. And you really shouldn't, because other people are in the same boat as you. Even if it seems like they're out there crushing it, they still have to bring new business in no matter what. So I think that was kind of scary at first, reaching out, kind of the fear of rejection. But once I got over that, I've noticed a lot of people do want to work with you. Yeah. That's been a really big part of our business.
So by the way, I am here. So this whole space that you're in, Matt mentioned he doesn't know the space. Mm-hmm. I don't know the space, but I kind of on the side of it because I go to hot yoga and a high school friend and other people that are in this like wellness, and they're in the cups and the massage and the appearance based stuff. So it sounds like there's kind of a group or a cluster of people that are in this space. I don't mean the customer. I mean the actual people serving the businesses. Am I reading that correctly?
Yes.
So you can go. I mean, you offer this. I'm looking at your website. Summer Gold offers, Glow Deeper and that kind of stuff. And then so you're looking at like I go to hot yoga. That would be another one because a lot of those people are all in that space, especially nutrition and that kind of thing. So
Yes.
all right. I'm getting the ionosphere of the wellness and the beauty. That's the whole thing. So you could go to anybody in that space and say, "Hey, let's talk."
Yeah.
Basically, is that how it is?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think a lot of people too, when they want to try something new for beauty and wellness, they are kind of an open-minded person. They want to try everything. So like they want to try hot yoga, they want to try the cupping like you had mentioned. So I think it's kind of the same person. And honestly, I was my target market when I first opened. I've since evolved since we've added other services. There are things that other kinds of clients like. So our target has definitely grown, and I know that's something I mentioned to you as well. Where the target that you're going after for someone who's going to prom and needs a spray tan is completely different than our 50-year-old client who's coming in to use the red light therapy bed. So sending different messages, that's been kind of something new for us as well, where before we were just kind of bucketing everyone in one group.
You don't need to take his class, but market segmentation was a big part of it. So that's really
Yep.
what you're talking about. 17-year-old going to prom with a spray tan.
Yep.
And those are probably high margin, I guess, reasonably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the margins on that are pretty good. Same with facials, red light therapy. But yeah, so we have been kind of growing into different ways. Wellness is something a little bit newer to our business. We started off just kind of beauty aesthetics. And I'm not an esthetician. So a lot of people who own these beauty salons are estheticians. My sister is one, so I'm very familiar with how this industry works. But at first, I thought that was a weakness, but I've kind of realized over time it's kind of a strength because I'm not an esthetician. So when I go to other salons or spas websites, some of these things I can't decipher because I'm like, I don't know what that means. So I've been able to kind of put myself in our client's shoes of we need to explain this for the everyday person. It's not common sense to know how to prep for a spray tan. So we need to tell them because we want them to get the best results possible. So yeah, that's been kind of something too that we've flipped over. We took that weakness and kind of have turned it into our strength.
I always say, explain it like you're talking to a third grader.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where it needs to be. Okay, so another thing that you're doing really well is referral programs.
Yes.
Can you kind of walk us through what's happening there?
Yes. So small businesses thrive off of word of mouth. I think everybody knows that. It's a free way to market yourself. And it's also the best way to build trust with someone who doesn't know you. So if someone that you know came to our studio and had a great experience and they told you about it, that is going to immediately build trust instead of you seeing an ad on Facebook. So we really wanted to tap into that, and we started offering our clients cards that if they, and it has their name on it, if they give it away to someone, they come and bring it into us, they get a discount, and then the person who referred them is also getting credit towards their next service. Because we wanted to give people a little bit of an incentive. We really appreciate when our clients tell other people about us. So that was kind of a way to build on that. And then we also have an ambassador program, which is essentially the same thing, but you're a little bit more committed. You have like a whole stack of cards. You're constantly handing them out. We have like hairstylists that come see us and they talk to people all day long. So we thought that would be a great person to be an ambassador. You have your cards up at your, your station. If someone mentions, oh, you look tan. Oh, well, actually, here's a coupon. And then they're getting credit as well. So that was something that was super easy. You can just print them on business cards in bulk. And yeah, we just kind of write in their names. So they're very multi-purpose. They don't go to waste.
Very cool.
We talk to like the average business person and they, I'm wary of getting too involved with other like-minded people that have the same, I guess, audience. And I'm learning how to do that. The way you make it sound, it's so easy. Hey, we're all in the same game. We're giving referrals. Everybody's getting along. And then all these HVAC guys that are listening are like, oh, my gosh, but, we're dog eat dog world. But that sounds so fun the way you put it. I like that.
Right.
I like that world better than the one I live in.
Yeah, I've learned too since starting. At first, I kind of felt like that. I had walls up. I was like, I have to keep everything secret about what we do. I can't share our special sauce. But over time, I've kind of realized that I think where the future is heading, people want to collaborate. They want to support other small businesses. And that's kind of where my heart is at. I'm a small business super fan, obviously of my own business, but of many other businesses as well. And I've really seen that come back to me in return. So the more I've supported someone else's business, I see them out there supporting us as well. And, there's so many salons. There's a lot of competition when it comes to things like that. You can get your eyebrows done. There's probably 20 places on the street you could go get your eyebrows done. So you have to kind of focus on what makes you different and special and really lean into that. Something with our messaging that we always talk about is body positivity. I know that's kind of a word that gets overused a lot nowadays, but we are so big on that. Airbrushed hands, Brazilian waxes are our two most popular services. Incredibly intimidating to go into your first one. You're kind of partially nude in front of a stranger, essentially. So we're all about making them feel as comfortable as possible. And that's what really sets us apart. So, we're not really hammering people over the head with, come get your brows waxed, come get your brows waxed. It's more of, hey, if you want your brows waxed and you want to feel comfortable, we're the place to come to.
It's funny that you mention all of this because I've dealt with one other client in the red light therapy, as you would call it, right? And I'm going to say this nicely, you would get in the door and you would have the first one, and then it was the massive upsell, trying to sell huge packages and all these other things. And it was failing miserably. And we kept having this conversation, please stop.
Yeah.
You are literally trying to sell them a car after they just walked in the door to try something for the first time. Please don't do that. So I think what you're saying is you're treating customers how they want to be treated.
Yes.
You're providing them the comfort level. I mean, maybe they're not they're not necessarily used to this. They're trying things first time, second time, and you've maintained a niche here, right? So you're literally trying to be a friend, trying to help them, trying to be supportive.
Yes.
Okay. I love that.
Thank you.
All right, so let's move on because I know we try to keep things short. The third thing that you were talking about is you're doing really well on social and most Instagram in particular.
Yes. Instagram has been our biggest driver. I think a lot of our audience is on Instagram specifically. We've dabbled with TikTok. It's a little bit hard. It's not so localized as Instagram. Facebook, we kind of push our information out on there as well, but we notice most of our clients are on Instagram the most. At first, I think we focus a lot on trying to go viral with funny reels. And we did go viral. We had a video go viral. It's 3 million views on Facebook now. Wow. And it didn't really do anything for us because we're a local business. So I think after that experience, I was like, okay, I don't think it's so much about the visibility. Of course, that's important. People do find us from a reel, but it's more about having a consistent message. And when people pull up our Instagram page, they kind of know what they're going to see. They're going to see exactly what I talked about with our brand, about being a place that is all about self-love and self-care, and also just providing education. So I think that's been big for us. People know that when they follow us, they're going to learn something most likely, because, like I said, we're not all estheticians. We have so much to learn about these things, and a lot of us are interested in it. So we've kind of refined our social media approach to not really try to grab everyone's eyeballs, but to make sure that the eyeballs who are watching us, who do come in, are seeing what they need to see.
That's here we are on the campus of Purdue in Northwest Indiana, and we have a very similar experience. We stream television or video of high school and college games, and we do a whole bunch of them, and every once in a while somebody does a great play. So twice we have sent in a play to ESPN Sports Center and have become the number one play that day with millions and millions of views. And then a week later, it didn't even matter to our local business. And I think that is a mistake that many marketing professionals, and we're sitting in his classes, there's all these marketing professionals, and they're all counting like how many views and how many people saw it. And I'm like, are they around here? Does it matter? Are they going to go to your sub shop or something like that?
Right.
And so I put that out to folks that are, that Matt and I talk to, is that, it's not always that big number. If somebody in Turlock, California watched your video, big deal, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we don't do e-commerce, so it really doesn't matter if someone outside of our radius sees our video. I mean, it's great, but it doesn't put like move the needle. It doesn't do anything for us.
Yeah, it comes down to your farm, right? We
Yeah.
talk about that a lot in understanding what your farm is. So if you are literally promoting goods and services to the entire United States or even larger, it makes sense for those those platforms. But in the same sense, this one video that went viral, and I noticed on Instagram it may be the same video. It had roughly 47,000 views on it.
It might be. Is it the Freebird video?
No, yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
So it's a great video. It brings in some humor and things like that. And please plug your Instagram so people can go see it. But the idea is that content started to go a little bit viral to all over the United States.
Yes.
As we flip over here and we start talking about things that aren't working or things that you need a little bit of help on, I would look at that video and say, can I take that same video and create an ad out of it and just promote that in the area? So it's getting a lot of views. People are interested in it.
Yeah.
Right? Take that and go, okay, that's what people wanted to see across the United States. I'm assuming 100% of the people that walk around here don't know who you are.
Right. Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is we're at the top of the funnel. We're trying to generate awareness.
Yes.
So take that one video and then put some dollars behind it and start promoting it in a radius around your business.
I'm writing that down. You are still teaching me 10 years later.
Why do you think I do this podcast? I'm like, you know what? This is consulting at its best right there.
It's free consulting for everyone that's listening, right?
Yeah.
So as the business person like you, the first thing I think that you have done well here is that you have admitted that some things aren't working.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't. They're just like, oh, this has to work. It worked for my buddy at the club or something like that. You're saying these specific things we're going to go into. That awareness funnel, you're already in. So cool.
Yeah. No, I feel like realizing your mistakes, you can either live in delusion or you can live in reality. And a lot of times we do like to live in delusion a little bit. Like, it's going to work out. But, then reality hits and you're like, okay, I have to make a plan. I have to come up with a better strategy.
So another thing, we were talking about Google My Business or Google Business Profile as it's known today.
Yeah.
You do a really good job on it.
Thank
So I was
you.
doing a little bit of research. I noticed that you're coming up on top. You have a lot of reviews. But there's a few other things that I think you can do with that.
Let's
As she
hear
gets her
that.
pen out, right? So I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at the photos that you have in there, and there's a handful of photos that have been uploaded, and I think the latest one was roughly about a year ago.
Okay.
Okay. You talk about collaborating with your customers. You talk about the collaborations with other companies. Start to work with your customers and provide your best customers. I'm sure you have your 80-20, right?
Yep.
Find those individuals and start celebrating them through pictures on your profile.
Oh, I'm writing that one down.
That is good.
Right? So if you are, basically if, let's use a name, Mary is one of your best customers, Mary's going to get all excited because now she's seeing herself on your profile. It's a celebration of who has made you who you are today.
Yes.
Right? The other thing that I would say is the collaborations that you're doing with other companies, work together on those. So take pictures of you and them together, and then you both share those photos to your own profiles. So it shows how you're working with the environment.
That is genius. And you would recommend putting that on the Google My Business
Yes.
page? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I never thought of putting it there.
Me,
Honestly,
me
yeah.
neither.
Sorry. Okay, I know I'm supposed to participate, but I'm taking notes here.
Jim's got a notebook that's, I think he's on his third notebook at this point. It's all good.
What about emails?
Emails. So I started off with MailChimp, using that. We have a decent sized email list, I think, because every time we'd be sending emails, it's like the price would go up because I kept hitting that new audience reach. And so it got to the point where I almost was spending like $70 a month on an email service and I was barely using it. So I switched over to a different provider. I'll just give a shout out to Flowdesk. They have good templates. I'm still kind of playing around with it, but my issue with email still is segmenting my audience. So something I mentioned in this podcast was I have different types of audiences who do different services. That is one. Just automating it more because, you mentioned we're limited on time, and that is so true. Sometimes I can spend an hour or two putting together an email to make it all formatted and pretty, and I'm like, was that a good use of my time? Probably not. So automating it. And then something else I had mentioned to you was like triggers. So every time a new subscriber signs up for the email, I want them to be immediately sent an email. Or if they come and visit, I want them to immediately be sent an email. How was your visit? Leave us a review. Or even something you've talked about in your podcast was birthdays, giving people like a birthday discount, just making them feel seen and special. And then kind of, giving them that little discount or nudge to come in and celebrate your birthday with us.
Yeah, exactly. I think we look at email and we look at it from a surface level. But what we have to do is we have to sit back and kind of understand it all starts with how we segment the list. So I remember years ago sitting down with Fortune 500 companies and talking about preference centers and really kind of understanding the data that goes into it allows you to do other things, right?
Yes.
So I went through and I was kind of, you're on Square for your checkout, right?
Yes.
Okay. So with Square, I was noticing you take first, last, email, and then you obviously get the product that they're ordering at that point, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have that come in, but we also have other things. You could collect interests. You could have check boxes of the different things that you offer, and if it's red light or spray tan or whatever it may be, right? So those interests, we collect that, so we know what other products they may be interested in. I didn't see anything for birthday.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
Collect
I
the
don't.
birthday. And then on the new prospect side of things, first, last, email, interest, and birthday as well, right? So now we have two sets of data. We have our customers that have ordered, and then we have our prospects. If we use something, we've talked about Zapier before, that ties in. I know you work with MailChimp. I don't know if the new one connects. We'd have to look into that. But if you use MailChimp or Constant Contact, something like that. So if we do that, we can actually do a new prospect. We can have a welcome trigger, right? Welcome to our list. Here are here's some beauty tips, things that we've learned from our customers, right? Create like an automated welcome email segment.
Yes.
Right. The first one goes out, it automatically 2 days later triggers another, 3 days later it triggers. So now you've set up the entire process. You don't have to touch it anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So as soon as somebody enters that form, it goes over, it starts that process going through. Okay. On the birthday side of thing, I've done this with my clients. We set them up by months. So it's January, February, and literally when it gets to that point, gets to January, it triggers that email to go out to all those January birthdays when it reaches, or you can set it up for a few days before, right? So December 20th, that email for January can go out, and now all of those January birthdays can start to get what you're offering, all the February and so forth. So again, automated emails going through, you don't have to do it. You set it up once and you forget it.
Is that what you use for, is it Zapier?
Zapier will connect.
Okay.
Yeah, it basically connects different flows.
Got it. Okay.
Somebody orders from you. Obviously, we know they've ordered it in Square. We can connect that over and say, okay, 2 days ago they ordered. Now send this email with your Google review, and that automates that entire process as well.
Okay.
Okay. And then last but not least, if there's interest and you're saying, well, I'm going to run a special on red light therapy this month, all you have to do is when you go in there and you build that email, you just hit, I want only the people that are interested in red light therapy, and then it starts to send it out that way. So I know I've mentioned before, I've seen Walmart's email list, and it's millions and millions and millions of emails, but they'll send 10 million emails today, and they'll send 10,000 emails tomorrow to a smaller segment because they know they are PlayStation 5 customers who have ordered this game in the past, so they know that they need to send that. So those are really 4 ways that you can automate things that you've probably never even thought of.
No, definitely not. I think,
and I'm going to give you this, by the way, the little note, so
cool.
you can take that home. But yeah, but like I said, there's when we think about email, we think about creating the email. And what you have to do is go, all right, data goes in. How can I use it?
Yeah.
Am I collecting enough data? Because most people won't think anything about giving their birthday.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Most people won't think of anything when I'm interested in, okay, yeah, I want to know these things.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fun part, because all of a sudden you can start to do some really interesting things, and it becomes this entire new employee that's working for you.
Yes.
And you don't have to pay him. You pay him $70 a month, right?
Right. Right.
Good for you. Yes. Please automate that.
That is so interesting to me. And I think too, so typically what I've been doing is sending my emails to my entire email list.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking that by segmenting them, it would also help with unsubscribes, because then you're not bombarding your airbrushed hand client with red light therapy emails or waxing emails. You're sending it to the right person who's interested and wants to see it. And something I heard you mention in a podcast too was the headline, that like trying to pique their curiosity. That's something I just started playing with. Before it was always like April specials, and you knew what was going to be in the email. The last one we sent was we had this realization, ... and we saw our open rate go way up.
Yep.
Something like that. That helped. I appreciate
Curiosity
that.
killed
Tip.
the cat,
What's
right?
your unsubscribe? How many of those are you getting?
I would have to look. It's usually only like maybe 2 to 4 per email. Which I don't know what the rate would be. I'd have to calculate that. And math isn't my specialty. It's marketing.
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty low, I would say. But I don't think I'm sending enough emails. So I think with the increase in frequency, you probably would see an increase in unsubscribing. But
I know we've gone a little
Yeah,
longer
we're a
than
little
normal,
late.
but I just got to ask this question, because there are a lot of people in your position and in my position where I think I've been doing this a little bit longer, but I have reached a number of times where this is outside of marketing. This is as a small business person. And I left Chicago, came down here. You've left the corporate world and started your own business. Just 1 or 2 comments on something you learned that you wish someone would have told you ahead of time.
oh, one that I really like, and I think it's used a lot, is nobody's coming to save you. You are fully responsible for every decision you make. And then, like you are the one who has to be in the driving seat all the time. No one's going to tell you what's the right decision. So kind of like trusting yourself is very important. I would say that. The second one is you have to take risks. If you don't take risks, you're going to stay still. And nobody wants to stay still because it kind of sets you back. Right. So I would say taking risks, and then you have to take control of the wheel.
Thank you.
I think my biggest
guys.
thing that I always tell people is it's never going to be perfect.
That is
Just
a great point.
move forward. Right?
Yeah.
And I have this conversation with clients all the time. We have to wait. Let's just put it out there. Let's see what happens. Right.
Yeah.
And we talked about the viral video that I'm assuming that didn't take you a month to put together. It was
No.
probably an afternoon that you
5
said, let's
minutes.
try something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, all right, where can they find you?
You can find us on Instagram or Facebook at Summer Gold Co. Or you can visit our website, www.summergoldco.com. But yeah, you can find us Instagram. We have a lot of good information. Our website too. But yeah, find us there.
And if they mention this podcast, they can
get $10 off.
There you go.
Mention WJOB.
There you go.
Or Mastering Local Marketing, and you will get $10 off your first appointment of $50 or more.
There you go. Perfect. Well, thank you, Summer, for coming in today. I think we have a lot of things that people can walk away today. We try to get at least one. I think we gave them about 20 today. But thank you for coming in, and thank you for listening, everyone.
Thank you for having me. Thank you both.